That's why. Okay, there we are. So looks like the video is already there. The video is already live. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No, let me see. We need to change that. It is going to be Cortiggiani, razza, dannata. And this is with baritone Arshavir Karapetyan. Petian. That's the name. That's it. So having done this change, couple of things that I think that are necessary to mention just now. Um, we're facing one of the most difficult areas for baritones ever written, one of the most dramatic pieces of music composed by our very much dear great maestro Giuseppe Verdi in one of his three favorite operas. Remember, they are Traviata, Trovatore, and Rigoletto. This one comes from Rigoletto for sure. And there are several things that I wanted to point out before we actually start and watch the video. First thing first, so that you can see what I'm going to. Cortiggiani vil razza dannata is a tremendous storm. It has to be shocking from the very first minute. That is conveyed not only by the music but also by the voice. Um, let's let's take into account what's happening here. Many people, and that's I can't believe that there's people who actually say it. They say, "Oh, Rigoletto sang beautiful. Oh, the Cortigiani, it's beautiful. Cortigiani vil razza dannata is not meant to be beautiful. Cortigiani vil razza dannata is telling us the horrible story, the story of Rigoletto's daughter Gilda having been kidnapped by this number of monsters that are under the command of Il Duca di Mantova. So they are heinous people who commit horrible crimes. One of them is abducting young girls so that the Il Duca can actually rape them. Look at the crime that we are talking about. Young girls are being abducted so that Il Duca can actually rape them. That is horrendous. When you are the father and you realize that your daughter has been kidnapped by that group of people for the purpose you know very well, because you have been part of it as well. You have been part of those. You have done it yourself in the past. You have been an accomplice of kidnapping girls. You are a monster yourself, not only because of what we know physically about Rigoletto, but because you've been part of that. Now that it happens to you, of course, now you're reluctant and now you don't feel that comfortable. It's not the same, right? Now that it's happening to you and your daughter, it's not like when you have done it to other parents. You know that in the opera we have Monterone, and that's when things start changing for Rigoletto. La Maledizione, the very famous La Maledizione, which at one point was going to be the name of the opera instead of Rigoletto. But going back to that point, now that Rigoletto is suffering in his own flesh the kidnapping of his daughter Gilda, now he's desperate. Of course, he loves his daughter. He didn't care a cent for what he did to the other girls. He really didn't care. He just wanted to comply with what Il Duca wanted. But now that it's happening to him, he's really suffering. And that's where the storm starts. And I was saying that this is one of the most difficult areas for a baritone because it is demanding at the interpretation level and in a way at vocally. At this point, maybe a baritone will say, no, no, it's easy because you're not demanded to go as high as a G, the highest note is, and then you can do blah, blah, blah. That's not where That's oversimplistic to say because many people still, and I can't get tired of repeating it too often. The difficulty does not reside only on the highest note that is going to be sung. The difficulty resides on a good number of things, and as we are about to witness, it is a case of Cortiggiani. Also, as you can read, we have a very particular version that I found from baritone Arshavir Karapetyan. It's sung in Russian even. He's from Armenia, for what I could read. So it is a Slavic voice that we have discussed before. Slavic voices are very strong and rich in harmonics in the center and in the low high register of the voice. So we know that his voice of course, people can discuss about his musicality, but since I haven't watched it, because remember I watched it at the same time as you, we are going to discover how about his musicality and his ability to deal with Maestro Verdi's style. But at least for the voice per se, I don't think there is going to be any problem. Now going back to interpretation, and I am about to click on play, but I wanted to make sure that this is understood. We are about to see. How this tremendous storm opens and the orchestra opens with this fortissimo tan tararararan, tan tararararan, because it has to be ah like the sound is telling you the tremendous drama that the spirit of Rigoletto is suffering at this point in time. So, what I am expecting to see is, and I am so tired of baritones not doing it. They sing Cortiggiani vil razza dannata as if it was Puccini. And it is not Puccini, it is Maestro Verdi in one of the greatest challenges for a baritone. You just discover or you know that your daughter has been kidnapped. You cannot open, you cannot approach to the area saying, Cortigiani vil razza dannata. You are so upset and you're cursing those people. If you're cursing those people, you cannot say, Cortigiani vil razza dannata. It has to be with almost your voice turning into a yell. Cortigiani, vil razza, dannata. And of course, the baritone, according to the resources he has, needs to define how he's going to emphasize one syllable of the other. Of course, also, this is one of the reasons why I would like to be a baritone voices. You know how much I love baritone voices. And let's see, enough with the talk, 8 minutes talking, and we haven't actually heard anything. So let's take a look at Arshavir Karapetyan singing Cortigiani vil razza danata in Russian, Armenian baritone. Pay attention to this. Quella porta assassini. Quella porta assassini. I think he's doing a very good job here. And now, after that climax, Rigoletto knows that based on his force, he's not going to get anything. So the tone is changing now. Signore. Now he starts begging. He's humiliating himself so that he is allowed to see Gilda once again. In the name of being a
Marulla,
father.
signor moj, ti скажи, дьявол, сокрыли, ведь там не ошибся, ведь там, отвечай же, ведь там, отвечай же. Молчишь ты,
Arshavir Karapetyan indeed has a great voice. What a beautiful baritone voice.
signore, leggiare ci sarà da мною. Старику дочь его возвратите, возвратите, ничего вам не стоит, ничего вам не стоит, в ней мое утешение, отрада в ней моя.
Signore,
Пощады прошу, пощадите мою. Мне диву вы отдайте, все на свете, оно для меня. Пожалуйтесь мною, дочь отдайте. Отдайте старику, пожалуйтесь, умоляю, ах, умоляю, я
I wish that maybe he had done it a little more, if not a filatura, at least a little more pianissimo at the end. Pietà, signori, pietà,
Work today is
pietà,
broken. We're all
signore,
working in too
dette a
many
me
disconnected
la
apps.
figlia, tutto il mondo, dette a me. I wish that that part had been more um, pianissimo, as I was just saying, to make it softer so that you can actually compare the initial Cortiggiani, razza, dannata with that tremendous yell of despair and comparing it to the humiliation of Pietà, Signore, Pietà, please bring me my daughter back. But indeed, it has been a very positive impression that baritone Arshavir Karapetyan left me. Really don't know anything else about this baritone except that he's Armenian. But well, thank you for having watched this with me.